Students, myself Pushpalata, and I am your science teacher. So today we are going to study the 6th standard first lesson of science is the natural resources. In last part we already discussed about the what is the meaning of natural resources, or we already discussed, or we already seen in details the air as a first natural resource. Today we are going to study the second one, that is water and the land. Okay, so let us see. First one is water. It is almost impossible for us to spend even a single day without a water. That means we use a water in our day to day life for different purposes. For example, for bathing, for washing clothes, for mopping floor, for drinking, for cooking, etc. We need to drink 3 to 4 liters of water every day so that all our bodily functions run smoothly. Other living things also require water, although the amount of water they need may vary according to the size of their body. Thus, we see that water is a very important. As like that of us, other living organism, other living things also required water for fulfilling their basic needs. That means for fulfilling their body function. Okay, for doing their body function. Hence we can say that water is very important for us. Now, how water is formed? If hydrogen gas burns in air and it combines with oxygen, and water is formed. In air, hydrogen gas burns, and after that it mixes with oxygen and water is formed. We know the characteristics of water. In previous year we already learned that characteristics. Now just revise it in this. In real nature, water occurs in a three state. As we know, water occurs in a three state. Like for example, liquid in a water, okay, then solid as ice, and what gaseous, that water vapors. So these are the three states of water. Water does not have color, taste or odor. many Many substances readily dissolve in water. Therefore, water is an universal solvent. That means most of the substances easily dissolve in water, and therefore we can say as water as a universal solvent. Now, the blood of animal and the sap in plants contain a very high proportion of water. That means in blood of the living beings or living things, the it is a very high proportion. Okay, that means the water contains in blood of the animals and the sap in the plants, it is a very high in proportion. So no living things can survive without water. Therefore it is said as a water is a life. So as we use water, all other living things use water like we do. We use water in large quantities. We have learned that water on the earth is regulated through the water cycle. We know that water cycle. Okay, that means in that process that water vapors are formed due to sunlight, okay, from oceans, and then forms a clouds. That means condensation process is there, and after that the water comes in the form of rain on the ground. So this is the water cycle. The water vapor formed from oceans is the main source of water in the water cycle. It gets converted into a rain, creating fresh water sources on earth. We get a water from natural sources. That means here given the sources of water, natural sources of water. For example, streams, rivers, ponds, springs, lakes. Okay, now, these are the natural sources of water. Man also dig the wells and bore wells to lift the groundwater. Apart from this, man has also constructed bunds and dams of various sizes on river. So these are the natural sources of water. As we know that we require the water in a large quantity. Okay, we require the water or we use the water in a large quantity. So this due to the uncontrolled use of water for an increasing population, industry and farming, it is now in a short supply. That means we have to face there a problem, that is shortage of water. Water scarcity has become a serious problem. So to prevent this shortage of water, we have to always remember that we should use water sparingly. That means when we want water, that only time we have to use the water, and we use that water sparingly. Block water, let it percolate. We have to block the water. Store water wherever possible. Nowadays in most of the societies, the societies done the rainwater harvesting. So they store that rainwater for their future use. Reuse water wherever possible. Remember, store water does not become stale at once. So for avoiding or for preventing the shortage of water, we have to follow these 4-5 points. Okay, or we have to always remember that points. Then next, our natural resources is land. So land is seen in the form of stones, soil, big rocks. It is not flat everywhere. If you observe picture given in that slide, so it is not flat everywhere. Okay, it is hilly in some region, in flat and flat in some region. All terrestrial animals including man live on land. Some terrestrial dig burrows in the ground for their shelter. For example, snakes, for example, rats. Okay, so they dig burrows in the ground for their shelter. This means that they use the land for fulfilling their basic needs. We also use land for farming and for building houses and roads. We make use of plants and animals in the forest that grow on land. The minerals, crude oils and natural gas obtained from the earth are very important for us. It means that land is an important land is an important natural resource. So here the land is an important resource. So let us see exactly what land is made up of. So in that picture, if you observe the picture given or diagram given in the slide, in that slide various layers of land are shown. Okay, if the land has mature soil, the topmost layer is formed by the decomposition of dead plants and animals, and this layer is called as a humus. So this is the topmost layer of the land, that is humus. It is usually found in dense forest. The land below this is full of sand, soil, small stones, worms and insects. Soil and pieces of bedrocks are found below this layer of land, and this soil is immature. That means that below that humus layer there is a layer of soil, sand, small stones, worms and insects, and the pieces of bedrock also found in that, and this is called as a immature layer of the soil. So further below this layer, the proportion of this soil is decreases, and that of the rock is increases, and therefore this layer is called as a bedrock. And the main minerals which is obtained from this bed rocks, that means the main minerals in the soils are derived from these rocks. And that is why, due to that bedrock, that is why soil is different region, soil in a different region is different. The color and texture of soil are both determined by the bedrock. If you observe the different region on earth, so in that somewhere you can find a red sand soil, somewhere you can find a brown soil, okay, somewhere you can find a black soil. So these are the color and texture are different as per the different region, and this is why, because of that bedrock. So next is the process of soil formation, how the soil is formed. The soil on the land is formed by a natural process. The abiotic components of soil are supplied through the weathering of the bedrock. Abiotic components means the non-living things which are present in the soil are supplied through the weathering of the bedrock. Due to the heat, cold and water of the sun, wind and rain respectively, the bedrock breaks down into a small pieces. The stones, sands and soil are formed. From these pieces, microbes, worms and insects are found among them. Rodents like mice and rats are also found here. The roots of trees growing on the land also help weathering of the rocks, and the process of the soil formation is slow and continuous. It takes about 1,000 years for a 2.5 centimeter thick layer of mature soil to form. So how the soil is formed? Due to the weathering of the bedrock, and these all things are responsible for weathering of bedrock, and due to that the soil is formed, and it is very slow and continuous process. Okay, soil can get destroyed in a short period due to flood, storms and human activities such as mining. Okay, so that is why it is necessary to conserve soil and to prevent erosion of land. What is the meaning of erosion of land? Erosion of land means what? The soil be blown away or washed away, we can say, by a floods. So this is erosion of land, erosion of soil. So it is necessary to conserve soil to prevent erosion of land. The best remedy for this and for conserving the soil or to preventing the erosion of land, we have to increase the green cover of the land. Erosion of land is why we have to increase the green cover of the land, because that green cover, that means that grass, trees and bushes are hold the soil together. Okay, and due to that erosion of land is reduced. Now do you know humus is the layer formed on soil due to the decomposition of dead plants and animals by microbes. So in on the earth or on the surface of the earth, what happened? The dead plants and animals on the surface are decomposed by the microbes, and from this one layer is formed on the surface, and this is called a humus. Humus supplies nutrients to the soil. Humus is very nutritious to the soil. Humus is also important for aerating the soil and for holding water in the soil. The proportion of humus in the upper layer of the soil, a fertile soil, is about 33 to 50%. So this is all about the humus. Forest on land got buried underground due to the great upheavals that took place on the earth many ages ago. After that, the process of formation of fossil fuels from the remains of living things took place underground, and from this we get fuels like petrol, diesel, kerosene, paraffin and other useful materials like wax and tar from the fossil fuel, and that is called crude oil. then we know that land, water and air available on earth. Okay, so and so does man. However, the portion of these resources that are actually put to use are very small as compared to the whole earth. If you show or look at the here given table, okay, in that the land is 29%, potable water and fresh water is given here 0.3%, oxygen is 21%. Okay, even in this small proportion, the resource shown in the table are sufficient for all living things. Only it is very necessary for man to control his greed. In other words, he must use these resources judiciously. That means he must use these resources sparingly, only necessarily, with the awareness that they are meant for all other living things and not just for mankind. So this is all about here given the natural resource about the land. Now the next is institutes at work. India Meteorological Department, that is IMD, was established in 1875 for studying the weather in the Indian subcontinent. The main function of this institute is to observe the weather and to make a weather forecast. That means this is the institute for in that institute there is a study about the weather, okay, in Indian subcontinents. So what is the main function of the that IMD or that institute is to observe the weather and to make a weather forecast. That means to predict the weather, what could be the weather or tomorrow, or it must be hot or it should be cold. Okay, so to prediction for prediction of the weather of the next day. This is the main function of the of this IMD. This institute also conducts research related to changes in weather, makes forecasts about rains and studies the development of developments related to global warming. So in that institute such research also conducts. Okay, so here we finish this lesson, that is natural resources, air, water and land. Now write down your homework. So first question is, how is water formed? Second question, draw the well level diagram of layers of land that is given on page number 6. And question number 3 is, write the function of IMD. As now we discussed the function of IMD, you have to write in that in HW. So write down that question, all questions in your science HW. So thank you. Stay safe, stay home.